I didn't know anything about it. No.
Welcome, everyone, to the regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to open tonight's meeting? Trustee Sullivan, second trustee Patino, all in favor. Meeting is hereby open. Before we take any further action, I just would like to take a moment of silence. The village lost two really important figures in our past, in our history, and I just would like to acknowledge the people who made such a impression on the village and their passing. So in the last week or two, we lost Elsie Pauline Faye Delmerico. Faye was a former village administrative assistant and registrar who passed on July 3rd at the age of 93. Elsie resided in Dobbs Ferry for over 50 years, and she was an active parishioner at Sacred Heart. She was on the planning committee that organized Dobbs Ferry's centennial celebration in 1973, and she retired from the village in 1994. Our deepest our deepest sympathy to the Delmerico family. Also, a few days ago, we lost George Keeling, who was a longtime village resident. He died at the age of 94. He was a skilled carpenter with unmatched work ethic. He was the founder and owner of Keeling Carpentry. He served our country as a proud Marine. He was a member of the Tarrytown VFW Drum Corps, where he met the love of his life, Mary Ann, with whom he shared 69 years. Barron was a member of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department for over 76 years as a member of Ogden Engine Company, where he rose through the ranks to chief. He and his father were the original volunteer drivers of the Dobbs Ferry Hospital Ambulance Corps before it became a volunteer-run service. So the history of both these people runs so deep in the village. I was able to attend a wake for George Keeling. It was really touching, and again, our sympathy goes to the Keeling family. So if we could just take a moment of silence for both. Thank you. I'm going to, a little bookkeeping, I'm going to move an item that was scheduled for the workshop. I'm going to move that to the first item on the regularly scheduled meeting. And that item is to discuss the Gould Park Pool House study. And the Rec Commission is here, and I'm sorry to make you guys wait for that. You saw how it played out, so I'm sorry about that. So do you want to come up and talk about it a little bit, or what do you suggest?
So I suggest either Michael or myself gives like a little background and like what the goal of this workshop agenda item was, and then the Rec Commission can give us, their feedback on the overall concept and project scope and size.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, today is the deputy mayor's last meeting. I think I was going to let her run tonight's meeting.
No, thank you.
You'd be done in 10 minutes, and the meeting would be over, right?
Sure, I'd be very happy.
So why don't you give us the background on this? And Mike, you can fill in what you think is necessary. So go ahead.
Yeah, when the building unfortunately burned down, or some of you fortunately, we decided that it might be a good opportunity to build a recreation building at Gould. It's been a long time project on the back burner to have a building back at Gould for the camp programming and other rec programming that we could do. So we hired an architect to do some feasibility work for us, to design a pool house, which we need a bathhouse at the pool for obvious reasons, because we haven't had one since the fire, and then adding on the rec building with possibility of having a basketball court, an indoor track, other like recreation space for programming or other stuff. And the purpose of the workshop agenda was really to determine the scope of the project, not like the actual design elements or whether it has the basketball court or I originally wanted a pool that kind of went by the wayside because of maintenance costs and expenses. So we have a small or a medium and a medium plus plan. And I think our job tonight is to decide like a not more than number that we're willing to commit to funding this building, and then the design and scope of the services that would be offered would have to work within that financial commitment from the village.
Mike, do you want to add anything?
No, I think that covers it. Everyone's going to hear from me.
Yeah, so we, the rec commission has been involved, and we met their regularly scheduled meeting last week, and we talked about it. I know they have some general and overall comments. We didn't talk about, I think we talked generally about money, but I don't know if they have an opinion about money. I know I have my own opinion that I'm sure we'll get to shortly. So Joe or Dasan, if you want to come up.
Okay.
Okay.
Just tell us who you are.
Yes, I'm DeSann Davis.
I always say your name.
Do I still give?
Apologize.
That's okay. Do I still give my address?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
You just live in Dobbs Ferry.
Resident of Dobbs Ferry, and sharing some points that came from the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting as of last Monday. So sharing some of our general thoughts on the plans and some of our priorities. We're really excited that this is going forward, and want to thank Nicole again for being a huge steward of this project in Gould Park for a long time. And in that spirit and the spirit of the committee's priority, the number one priority is the really sexy bathrooms. That includes both making sure we have sufficient bathroom facilities for the pool, and particularly for the pool in service of the camp program, which has, I think, a substantial bathroom need and a particular bathroom need that goes beyond just what we would experience there as village residents. But that really is a program that serves a wide swath of the whole community. And then a bathroom that's accessible to the public, that ideally would be a door directly opening, or in a way that even if the building is not staffed, that bathroom could be open and accessible either for sporting events or for the playground. We don't think we need an upper and a lower outside bathroom, but we do think we need one of them that is generally very accessible. I don't know, Kendra, are you going to speak to the specific bathroom needs? Okay, so I'll share. For the pool bathrooms, we were advocating to have possibly 8 male, 8 female, 4 showers, and some family bathrooms, which is substantially more than what's in the plan. Some of us are curious about whether there's plans in other places that we could draw from that turn some of those more into gender-neutral stalls that could create more flexibility. I think that creates some things to figure out in terms of the camp program, so it would be, I think, helpful to learn if there's other villages that have built recently and how they've approached that. But I think definitely to put some numbers out there that would potentially double the bathrooms in the pool area from what was in the current plan. Beyond the bathrooms, we're very supportive of the gym and the walking track as areas accessible for the whole community and spaces for people to be active and social. We're in support of there being a social room and designing that room in such a way that it could especially engage preteens and possibly teens if they're willing, for things like ping pong or pool or other sorts of social activities that could create more welcoming spaces. And want to continue to bring voice when we make the final designs, that we continue to think about the overall field design for the baseball field, as that's the only location for a baseball field in Dobbs Ferry, and just ensuring that the layout of both the building and the fields work in synergy with each other. To speak to a few of the things that I think generally we were leaning in favor of the medium plus plan, and obviously some things could move around a little bit, so acknowledging that if we need more space for bathrooms, some things that we wanted to speak to in terms of other places where maybe we could cut or just be mindful of. We're very interested in a snack bar or concession stand, but understand that having a grill would involve the health department, so we don't advocate in that direction. We advocate for a space that might have a fridge and a sink and be sort of a generally accessible snack bar or concession from that perspective. We want to be really thoughtful about the space behind the building, if there is any, especially on the lower level, to not create a bunch of dead space that could become, you know, a not welcoming space for folks to be. So thinking about the layout of the building to best use the space both above the pool and below. But above the pool, if there is space, that would be nice shaded area by the pool. And then brings me to, I think the last one, which is that part of the design included a large canopy on the pool side, and we weren't sure if that was necessary, and also raised concerns that if a priority is to keep the pool open throughout the construction phase, or at least as much as possible, that making sure we keep as much space between the building and the pool so that we can do our best to not end up losing another whole pool season would be a priority of the commission. All right, I think I got all of our general points. Do you want to add a few other things? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sam.
Hi, my name is Joe Lucchese, with the Rec Commission also. Kevin Hartnett couldn't be here today, but he sent some questions that he had that pertain to the layouts that we were given, and I'm just going to read some of those questions. There was some parking added in the left field area by DeVoe. He wanted to know whether or not that was going to cut back on the left field line for baseball, something we have to look at. He asks, we did go over to Theodore Young Community Center, which used to have a wooden floor basketball court, but it kept getting warped every time there was a flood, every time there was a leak. And so what they put in was called Mondo flooring, which is rubberized surfacing. They recently were flooded. They had 2 inches of water over their court. All they had to do was squeegee it. So I would recommend that if we do put in a basketball court, that we use some flooring like that, because whenever there is any kind of water leak, you know, you can recover very quickly from it. I know Dusan covered most of it. There's one more thing I wanted to throw out, and this had to do with the meeting you had earlier. High Street should be codified within the, as a park, within the village code. Right now, it's not really in there. And I think it's very important so that someday when I'm 80 years old and I'm looking out, I don't see a building there. Make it a park officially, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to comment on I'll try not to belabor this too much, but the intention of the plan was to give us a sense of the scale, its position, orientation within the park, how that might or might not affect the fields, and most importantly for, I think, tonight, how much money the village would need to spend in order to achieve those things. So I think all of your points about specific program uses, quantity of bathrooms, how those are allocated, where the upper and lower fields, 24-hour bathrooms, or some parts not open 24 hours, but you know what I mean, the always open bathrooms are accessed. Those are all parts of a development of a building that we can do once we, as a board and as a community, decide what we want to have there. And so I'm happy to continue working with you all and, other folks who are not here, Kendra, the rest of, our board to address those. And so I just want to also voice my strong suggestion that we approve the medium plus plan. I think having not just rebuilding the bathrooms and the showers, but providing a new place that's a new community-focused recreation amenity where parents can drop their kids off on Friday night, know that they're having fun and safe with other kids. They're not in the woods. They're not on their phones. It seems like maybe the most important thing we can do as a community is find places where, where we can have that kind of security and fun. And so I really think we should push for this project. I know that the current budget is very open-ended, partly because we don't have a design of a building. And so I think we should come to some agreement about an upper limit of what we want to spend to do the building and the landscape. We will maintain the ball field. We have some ideas about how to improve it. It would still work for football. I mean, all those questions could be answered down the road, but the building we're proposing wouldn't impact those things.
Kendra, is there anything you want to add? Kendra? Sure?
We're deciding on money. You sure you don't want
Come up here,
to think
Kendra.
about what you want to ask for before we decide? Because this is your time to speak up, because
Yeah, but there's another, this is landscape.
we're gonna make a decision. That's not what you want you to do.
Michael, I want to thank you for that. When we were talking at our meeting the last time, we weren't quite sure what we wanted to add about the plans that were presented to us. But as a group, we did actually lean toward the medium plus, not only for the money that was going to be spent, but all for the general idea, okay? And I know you guys were doing some square footage stuff, so it kind of caught us by surprise a little bit when we did it. So we didn't know exactly what we were going to be asking at this meeting. But as we move forward, I think we're in general agreement with you on this, and then the specifics will be ironed out at a different
Yeah, and the reason they weren't is because we did a smaller building, we did two medium-sized
Right.
buildings, we did a large building. And so, and to do refined plans for all those four different schemes was just too much in too short a time. So,
Right.
so the exercise, it requires a lot of thinking and a lot of iteration and a lot of,
Yeah, I
work
just
on
wanted,
all
we
that.
are, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Okay, Kendra, what are your thoughts?
I think that we have a blank slate up there, and now is the time to do something really great in the park. We need a bathhouse, and we also need a gym space and everything else, so I'm hoping that the board will give us a sizable amount of money to work with.
And this would help you with camp as well, right?
It would, yes.
How would it help you with camp?
We currently have no indoor space, so when it was 95+ degrees, we had to come up with some creative ways to keep the kids cool. So this would give us an indoor space to move them indoors, outdoors.
I mean, we've had this has come up a lot over the years. There's no place to go when it rains.
Right.
There's no,
Correct.
we've had a lot of 90-plus days, like, they can only be in the pool for so long.
And the thunderstorms.
They've got a lot of wild solutions, like, the fire department is hosing them down. They've got, slip and slides on the hill. There is a, and so not every kid can be part of that camp if they're, if they can't,
Right.
accommodate people who want to be inside. So there's a lot of other reasons to make this, building.
Okay, so, thank you, Kendra. Anybody have so many questions or comments for Kendra?
No.
Okay, thank you. See, you knew it wouldn't be too bad, Kendra. So, just so I'm clear on this, are we talking about like 18 million for the medium
So
plus?
the medium plus
You
building,
would-
right now with, which is a 11 or 12,000 square foot building, it's on 2 stories, it has a large canopy structure, and a fairly healthy contingency. This is from a professional estimating firm, very large one, very, very competent. I wish Steve was here, he could explain that, he worked with them. And that is a $15 million building. There is, in addition to that, there is a number of proposed landscape improvements to the park. They include retaining walls, ramps, and other kinds of improvements. This is not the drainage. That's an additional $3 million. That's an $18 million total project cost. I want to say that, this initial plan has many opportunities for efficiencies, both in the building construction and the landscape. I don't want to, it's very hard to put a number on, but I'm working with the professional who did this plan on a reduced scale building, a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller in footprint, takes out, if we can take 20% or so out of the total construction cost, I think that'd be a very successful endeavor. So I think that, the village should be looking at, $15 to $18 million costs for now. I think it's all of our, any of us who are working on this have to focus intensely on how to reduce that, but I don't, it's not going to come down it's not going to be half that for this size building. So, everyone has to be clear about that.
Jeff, can you just opine about finance? I know you did it earlier, but for the benefit of the public.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the debt load is pretty low right now. And, I'm kind of looking at the numbers we talked about earlier. So total around 23 million before we talk about a public safety building. I'm comfortable with that debt load.
And generally speaking, that debt load gets paid over how many years?
It depends on the type of project, but probably 15 to 20 years.
Okay. And we have a couple of million coming off the books in the next year or two, right?
Correct, correct, and we have
A little bit of a
1.6 million in a reserve also that could go towards it as well.
Okay.
And you won't really have a true estimate until you've completed construction drawings and gone out to
course,
bid.
of
So,
course.
so if generally consensus is to go with the medium plus plan, then the next step is to actually authorize a contract to have those construction drawings completed. And
Well, I
then,
think it's still, I think there's, Michael can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's still a design element that has to get done before that. So it's more like us committing to the medium plus and a not to exceed this number. That means like some specific thing or nicety has to get taken out to achieve that, or,
Right.
we scale something back, then that's what's gonna have to be done. But it was more to like commit a certain amount of funds for debt service and whatever not to the building. And I think Michael's number is right, if we could do no more than like 18 or 20 million, I think that would be great.
right. And,
But-
but you need to enter into a contract.
Yeah, you're completely right. There's
to
no estimate
To
until
refine the
there's a-
project
Yeah.
in the construction
But
plan.
what I was hoping to have is a general consensus from us that that's the type of project that we in the community want to do, as opposed to a different scale building
Scope,
that is a
yeah.
different program and a different budget.
Okay, so let's see if we can move forward on that. Is there, and everybody can talk about it if we feel we have to talk about it, but let's just see generally, is there a consensus, so we could avoid that? So is there a consensus among the majority of the board to propose and agree to a project, the medium plus, which would be in the ballpark of $18 million?
That would be ideal. I just need to understand what all the other things are that we're talking about bonding for.
So you want to know the bigger picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
So-
The other things we're talking about bonding
Are you
for are the
saying-
share on the New York Forward,
Depending.
like if whatever we get from the New York Forward, we would be bonding our share of that. And then an emergency services
Right.
building, those are the major bonding.
As if like emergency services ends up being, if we need to cut this smaller because emergency is huge, I just want to know.
That's why it's like, kind of like a consensus for not to exceed, so we don't, like, this doesn't become 25 million.
Right.
Okay, so we have a consensus. So Laura Lee, the next step you're saying is
To engage with an engineering architecture firm to create this, to create the construction, the nitty-gritty specifications.
We have to do an RFP for that?
do we?
Sorry?
Do you have to do an RFP for that, or we can just engage with
I
someone?
strongly suggest we do. I think we have, we have a better opportunity to find the best, most qualified team. So I would suggest that we do that.
Okay, so you can work on that, Laura Lee?
I can work with Valerie to draft up
Yes.
what that would be.
We can-
And we will work with Lori Lee once we get to a certain place.
Okay.
So that,
Sounds good.
We can use the scope documents that have already been prepared as part of the RFP process, and if the consensus is this medium plus, we can limit the documentation in the RFP to the medium plus and, move forward from that.
Okay, thanks. So we have one other item, because I see the rec commission is here. So we have one other item from the workshop that was the proposed Lowell Memorial Park improvement. So you guys want to come up and talk about it? Or no? Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
right.
They
so-
gave a lot of input into the Lower Memorial project before the core meeting, like, team meeting, like, did the scope, so.
Yeah, I can just add very briefly. I think we're in strong support of the Memorial Park renovations. And both that money will create very active communal spaces in Dobbs Ferry, and that it will create a conduit, I think, with the village. And I know when we spend more time in the parks with our kids, we go to the local deli and get food and eat them in the park. And I do think there's a lot of vibrancy that comes from that, especially when there's bathrooms at the park that make it a place that people can really spend a considerable amount of time. So I think it adds a lot of features that we don't already have. I know several members, and I think the ship has already sailed, several members were interested in the 3-court version of the pickleball court, because it seemed like a more multifunctional space overlooking the river. But my understanding is that that has already passed. But yes, and then I think generally speaking, we're also in support of the High Street Park renovation and making it a formal park that is actually a green space people can enjoy as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your volunteering. We appreciate it. I know you guys meet in person on a regular basis, so we appreciate your effort for that. So thank you very much. And I was just going to say you can go, but if you want to keep talking.
I just want to thank Nicole for being a fantastic supporter of the parks system. She's been there every step of the way. We couldn't have done a lot of the stuff we did without her support up on the board of trustees. And hopefully we will get someone who will be just as passionate to work with us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
She's a great advocate for you guys. Okay, moving along, we have appointments. So is there a motion to appoint Danielle Gilliard to the position of Secretary of the Village Administrator? Is there a motion? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Rosen Asher, all in favor? That passes unanimously. So Danielle, you are now part of the team. Let's come on up and meet me at the microphone so I could do the oath.
Is anybody taking a picture?
Margaret's not here,
Yeah,
so
Margaret's.
it's up to you.
I get out of time?
Yes, differential.
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and to carry out the duties of Secretary to the Village Administrator of the Village of Dobbs Ferry to the best of your ability? Congratulations. Let's give her a round of applause, everyone. Danielle, this is your chance. Go ahead, Danielle. Come on up.
It'll be very brief. I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to serve this community. I will not disappoint you. I'm looking forward to working with Rob and everyone on this board. Sorry I won't have an opportunity to work with you, but if you need anything, please let me know. And I just met a new friend, Greg. So thank you very much, and I look forward to serving. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
When did she start, Rob? Like now?
I know.
Welcome. Thank you. Next, is there a motion to appoint Diana Bonilla to the position of Deputy Clerk? That's easy, Deputy Clerk. Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Will Diana meet me at the microphone? Thank you. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York?
Thank you.
To carry out the duties of Deputy Village Clerk of the Village of Dobbs Ferry to the best of your ability? Congratulations. Welcome to the family. Should we be shaking hands? I don't know.
Make it official. Wow. Great.
Go ahead.
Well, I want wanted to thank you, Mayor Rosillo, and the Board of Trustees for giving me this opportunity. I also wanted to thank Mr. Yamuda and Ms. Draper for this opportunity. My family who's here, my mom, my dad, sir, my husband, my girls. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations
Thank you again.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
You want to take a picture with your whole family in front? You want to do that? You all came, so let's take a picture.
We'll shake your hand too. You want to come up? Come here. Come meet us.
Yes.
Sarah, we didn't tell you.
You guys can all come up, face that
Hi,
way. and we'll
welcome.
take a picture behind.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. Puzzle tough.
There you go.
Okay.
You gotta get in there.
Get in that picture.
Everybody, smile, ready? Okay.
Congratulations.
Oh, good luck.
Is there a motion to reappoint Lancelot Rose to the position of Deputy Treasurer for the term of 1 year effective August 12, 2025? Trustee Galen. Second, Trustee Rosenberg. All in favor? That passes unanimously. Congratulations, Lance, for another year of working for Dobbs Ferry.
He's doing a great job, so I'll let him know. Thank you.
Is there a motion to appoint Elan Messeri as a volunteer firefighter for the Village of Dobbs Ferry Fire Department? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor. That passes unanimously. Is there a motion to appoint James Trowley as volunteer firefighter for the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department? Trustee Patino, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor. That passes unanimously. We want to thank both of them for volunteering, putting their life on the line for the residents of Dobbs Ferry. We appreciate all the firefighters, all the volunteers of Dobbs Ferry, and we welcome them to the Dobbs Ferry family. So thank you very much for that. Is there a motion to appoint Stuart Sachs as the first alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term of 1 year as recommended by the nominating committee? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Is Stuart here? Come on up, Stuart. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York to carry out the duties of first alternate member of the Dobbs Ferry Zoning Board of Appeals to the best of your ability? I did. Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rosillo. Thank you, members of the board, for your confidence. I'd like to thank Jeremy Gutman, the chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals, for reaching out to me and getting me interested in doing this. I'd like to thank Donna Asuma and the nominating committee for giving me a wonderful hearing and nominating me. And I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Heidi, who's been very supportive every step of the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome. Who's the liaison to the ZBA? Oh, so, okay.
Hello.
Sign the good book.
I was the liaison to that for many years, and that's a very much an unsung, ZBA is,
What, the liaison or the being
no,
on the board?
being on the ZBA.
I agree. Good working with you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Welcome again.
Welcome, Stuart.
That's Hi, thank you.
Pleasure, congratulations. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Wherever you want, Mayor. It's your show.
So today is a very sad day. She said it's bittersweet. I don't see how it's sweet at all. But today is shockingly Deputy Mayor Sullivan's last meeting. She's, it's public knowledge, she's resigning because she has to, because she will not be living in Dobbs Ferry much longer. She's moving out of our wonderful village, although she'll still have family here, and she will still visit, I'm assuming, right? So,
You'll watch all the meetings on YouTube, though, too, right?
yes,
She's
she will.
gonna troll you on Facebook.
She will.
To watch all the meetings, she'll call in.
So I have a proclamation here, and I know that we have Mary Jane Shimsky here as well, but I'm going to go first. I know it's protocol for the higher person to go first, but I just want to.
There's the mayoral exception.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I just going to read this proclamation. Why don't we do it? I always do it. I always read it on the day, so.
Photos in the newsletter this week. Double edition.
So what we have is a village proclamation, and these are hard to get. We really don't give out too many proclamations. So whereas Nicole Sullivan answered a call to serve the community as village trustee on December 5th, 2016, and has been appointed as a deputy mayor since 2022, and whereas Nicole has served her tenure as village trustee and deputy mayor with dedication and commitment to give back to her community and serve all of the residents of Dobbs Ferry in the most fair-minded manner, and whereas Nicole served the community giving her time as a member or a liaison to various boards and committees, including Children's Village, the Community Advisory Committee, the Code Committee, the Downtown Committee, the Facilities Committee, Friends of the Water Park, Gould Park Subcommittee, the Historic District Task Force, the Housing Board of Appeals, the Library Board, Parks and Rec Commission, Senior Advocacy Committee, the Vision Plan Advisory Group, the Youth Services Council, the Zoning Code Revisions Task Force, and Director of the Dobbs Ferry Local Development Corporation. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Nicole has also made countless positive contributions to the deliberations of the board and in a most skillful and cooperative manner, helping to resolve conflicts and reach consensus on the village of Dobbs Ferry. And the village is a better place because of her service. And therefore be it resolved that I officially acknowledge with gratitude the contribution that Nicole has made to the citizens of Dobbs Ferry and wish her and her family well for all the days in the future. And I do hereby proclaim Friday, August 15th as Nicole Sullivan Day in the village of Dobbs Ferry. So let's give her a round. And before I let her speak, I have to say that I've worked very closely with Nicole all these years. She's been a great advisor. I bounce everything off of her. We approach things differently. We have a different way of managing, but we totally respect. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about you, but we totally respect each other's point of view. We don't always agree, but we always were able to talk honestly to each other. I trusted her without a doubt. I would say how I felt, what I was thinking, and she would either say I was wrong or say I was wrong. But she's a very close, confident. We always talked about things, and I think it's important to have someone as the deputy mayor who you can trust, who will always have your back. I had that with Donna Casal for all those years as well. Let's give Donna a round of applause. She's around. So Donna was the deputy when I first started, and I always bounce things off of her. She was kinder in a certain way, but Nicole always had my back as well. Not that she was mean, but she was all, different approaches. And I'm getting myself deeper into trouble. But I just cannot really express how much I appreciate everything that Nicole has done for me on a personal level, helped me through a lot of difficult situations. I always depended upon you and your advice, and I'm going to miss you. So thank you very much. So without further ado, I don't know if Mary Jane, you want to come up?
Mary Jane Shimsky, 5 Manor House Drive.
Got 3 minutes.
Okay. It's good to sit through a village board meeting every now and again because it reminds you the full range of responsibility that these folks have, the amount of due diligence it takes to get it all done right, the amount of controversy that some of these things can stir up, and what that means in terms to what your trips to the supermarket or your checking Facebook are like. And I don't remember in Dobbs Ferry, but you either do it for nothing at all, or you do it for an amount of money that pays for maybe a fifth of the babysitting you need if you have kids. I've known Nicole for a number of years now. Maybe it says something about where I am on the kindness and gentleness spectrum. I've always found Nicole to be a very warm and caring person. She always shows up. She always does her homework. And you are definitely going to be missed. Thank you so much for a job well done.
Of course she's kind and caring. That goes without a doubt.
I think I have a very direct manner about me that the mayor was referring to as being unkind.
Okay, should we move the microphone?
So I did tell the mayor and the board that it's bittersweet, that it's my last day. I'm, I guess, 15 months short of finishing out my term. I really did intend to finish it. It was going to be my last term. 10 years was more than enough. This will be a little bit shy of 9 years. It's been my honor and privilege, very rough year for me, to serve the village. I'm so grateful for all the colleagues I've had on the board. They've certainly helped me grow as a person. They've helped me grow as a board member. We've accomplished a lot over 9 years, not as much as I would like. I was hoping to finish out more of my infrastructure projects, so I'm going to rely on Mike Patino to push them through for me. But I'm glad that we're moving forward with the Gould Park rec building and some of these New York Forward projects, because they've been on the list for a long time. So I'm very grateful for all the, not only my fellow board members who have been amazing and supportive and who I consider friends now and in the past, grateful for all those friendships, but all the village employees and department heads have been amazing. This is a really special community. My sister lives in a different community. I grew up in a different community, and there's just something special about Dobbs Ferry and how everyone comes together and how we work together, and I'm really gonna miss that. But I'm grateful for the experience, and I hope I contributed something that was worthwhile, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next presentation will be a department update by the Dobbs Ferry Police Chief, so, Rick.
Thank you.
Charts.
Wow.
Thank you. Font size was selected by someone in their 20s.
Yeah, it didn't translate well on the screen, so I was trying to at least give something in writing, make it a little bit easier for you.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks, Travis. Just want to, Mayor is ready?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you, everybody. Won't take too much of your time. I just want a quick recap of where the police department's been and where we're going and what can be expected. 2025, we hired Officer Kelly Conklin and Officer Henry Ramos together while they are brand new here in Dobbs Ferry. They bring about 10 years of experience from their previous jobs. That actually brings the Dobbs Ferry Police Department back to its fully authorized strength of 27 police officers. So I'm very happy to see that we are back to where we are. And Officer Ramos is currently in field training, so as soon as he goes to the required minimum field training program, we'll have him in patrol as well and on his own. Kelly has been on her own for several months now. She's doing fantastic. So we're looking forward to that. Department stat-wise, I kind of just, this is why I give some handouts. So the table on the left, this is just kind of how our RMS system breaks down and how we do our stats when we, as calls for service come in, they're linked through the computer system, and we kind of broke it down from 2020 through 2024, and then 25 present. So we just kind of did an average, and the highlighted red in your handout are just kind of like the big things that figure you might be interested, are calls for service, how many adult arrests we've had, juvenile arrests, criminal complaints on average, traffic stop citations. You can kind of see for this year, we were around 5,450 calls for service, adult arrests, 83, 16 juvenile arrests. That's from January to June. And so for the cumulative from 2020 present total, you can kind of see how we, total number of calls. So calls for service, that's anything that's coming in through the 5500 or 911 that creates a call for service. And from there, that's how the records management system moves forward. Some things that I just want to bring to your attention that will be potentially on the horizon. Now that we're back to full strength, my hope is to get 2 officers back into our traffic unit so we can start enforcing the traffic as a separate entity. So one of the things that's recently come out, Westchester County Police has been using it, as well as numerous other agencies, is something called Star Chase. That is it's an adhesive GPS tracker. So a lot of agencies around the area have seen an increase in vehicle pursuits. So while we do have a very strict pursuit policy, they do occur occasionally nonetheless. So potentially at least having the ability with Star Chase is that will, in the initial attempts of making a car stop, if a vehicle is failing to comply, that vehicle that is equipped with Star Chase can put a GPS tracking through an adhesive that fixes to the back of the vehicle that is being attempted to be stopped. And then that officer can then stop and terminate the pursuit, but that GPS tracking device will continue to ping, and then coordinate with our partners with the Real-Time Crime Center out of Westchester County Police Department. We can then make a safer apprehension at a later date. So that's just something that I want to bring to your attention, as well as this drone as a first responder. This is something that is coming to a municipality near you at some point. Out west, California, Colorado, the NYPD is currently working with adding drones as first responder. And so I just want to bring it to the board's attention that this is something that will be eventually coming down the line as these programs start to develop and leveraging technology, and for the residents to understand what these drones are doing is on calls for service, depending on the nature. These agencies like Fremont, California, Colorado Springs, would be the NYPD's plan, is that as a job comes in, the drone actually deploys from, say, a set location, whether it's the top of 112 Main Street. It then actually gets on scene before the patrol car and begins to provide real-time information to the control center. This is something that I thought was science fiction a few years ago, but I am starting now to see this is happening around the country, and it's something that, while we're not yet in place for something like this, but it's important that you understand where this technology is going, because you're going to start seeing more and more of it from our partners, especially the bigger agencies. So being able to communicate and coordinate with those would be something that we should pay attention to. Again, as far as future needs, again, something that will always be a factor is our fleet management, and we are in a good position with this year's budget. We'll be able to finish off and take care of the last 2 vehicles. I have a vehicle on order that will be set to replace RMP 905, and then this current fiscal budget we'll be able to take care of the last. But unfortunately, fleet management is something that will always be part of any budget process. And while it does appear to be, it's a car. What is that? But in reality, the car is a mobile office for the officers with the RMS systems that we use, with the laptops. We try to keep the officers in the field as much as possible. Having a vehicle in service and the way our fleet works, for the most part, most of our cars are running almost 24 hours a day, so they're consistently out there working. So it's just something, again, that I want to make sure that we stay on top of, and we keep like a fresh turnover so that we don't wind up in a situation where I've got still 2 2017s and a 2016, which is, in this world with the amount of driving that we do, is rather old. We have been partnered with the Westchester County Police Department on a shared service records management system. There have been some hiccups with that. It was supposed to go live 1.5 years ago. That was put on hold because the project didn't work as we had hoped. We were supposed to go live in June. There are still some problems with that RMS system operating the way it was sold during the RFP that the county had put out. I'm hoping we get another opportunity to get our RMS system that we partnered with to go live. I've heard maybe October, November. I'm not really sure what's going on, why the system is not working, but in the meantime, just being able to pivot, and so I have another option. I do know that the town of Greenberg is looking to do a shared service RMS platform with the river villages, so they've been exploring other companies. That's just something that, as I get more information, keep the administrator and the mayor advised as to what the story is with that. But we do obviously at some point will be moving to a new RMS system. And then finally, just as a long term, and I know this kind of goes into the overall view of whether a public safety building at some point, but I would like to have an opportunity to speak with the board, whether it's a workshop to kind of decide, because it's more than just, FD has put together, an idea. I'd still like to throw some of my thoughts holistically when we're looking at it's not just the PD, but it's other department heads within this footprint of this building. And I kind of would just like to give some thoughts on the matter as to where we need to go for the next 100 years for the village of Dobbs Ferry. That's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Appreciate it. Any questions for the chief?
I was just wondering if there's anything that you would like us to do as far as getting some answers about the county RMS. Is there anything we can do to help, or is that just?
No, I have one of my officers has been assigned to the project, so we're actually hand in hand helping build this system. It's not, as of right now, working as was promised. So there's some shortcomings there.
Keep us posted if you think that angle would give assistance, of course.
Oh, and by the way, when I was doing the presentation to Nicole, God bless you, I forgot that former Mayor Don Mara texted me. He wanted to be here tonight, but he could not make it, so he wanted to he asked me to extend his appreciation for your service and wish you all the best. So that's from former Mayor Mara.
Thank you.
So, okay, presentation number 3, Juliana Caputo from the Student Assistance Counselor Prevention Program for Dobbs Ferry Middle and High School. So come on up.
She on Zoom? Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
So is that via Zoom or?
Well, that's going to result in a detention.
Did anybody reach out? Did us at all, no? Rob?
I thought they were coming in person, that's what the messenger said.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move to 555 Broadway Mercy University then. Sorry to make you guys wait so long.
And Valerie stayed on too, because both Valerie and I can add input on what you're about to hear.
And we have one member on Zoom as well. We can bring them over. I think we have to share the screen. All right, there we go. So, good evening. My name is Taryn Ramey from McCullough, Goldberger, and Stout. With me tonight, we have Coco Steinthal and Chris Tremutola from Alloy Design Studio, and we also have Tom Simmons, who is the Vice President for Operations and Facilities at Mercy University, and Tom is joining us by Zoom. And so we're here this evening in connection with Mercy's proposal for parking and pathway improvements on the Dobbs Ferry side of the Mercy campus. So the agenda lists this item as being an application for site plan approval. However, we are requesting a site plan waiver from this board. So we would like to discuss this with you as a threshold matter this evening. We do believe that a waiver from site plan review is warranted given the limited scope of this project as well as particular circumstances. So as you all are likely aware, the Mercy campus is bisected by the Dobbs Ferry-Irvington municipal boundary line. We are actually currently before the Irvington Planning Board for site plan approval in connection with a proposed field house and parking lot, which are located entirely on the Irvington portion of the campus. However, due to the location of the municipal boundary line, a small portion of the parking lot and pathway improvements extend under the Dobbs Ferry portion of the parking lot. And the improvements we're proposing, they're primarily accessible sidewalks and traffic calming devices like raised tables. You know, Mercy's looking to improve pedestrian safety, traffic flow, and vehicular access on its campus. And there's two important facts to note here. The pedestrian and pathway improvements, the parking improvements, they're all within the context of an existing parking lot. We're not talking about disturbing a pristine site. You know, there's already a parking lot there. We're working within the context of it. But also importantly, the Irvington Planning Board is already reviewing this project. They're doing a full seeker review, which includes these improvements. So given the limited scope of the work proposed, as well as the fact that Irvington is looking at this, we do believe that a site plan waiver is warranted.
I just ask, maybe I'm reading this wrong. 17 trees, though, are going to be removed from the Dobbs Ferry side?
Correct.
So that seems like a significant issue to me. 17 trees seems like a lot.
Yes, so there's plans that we can run through here. Just to note that point, instead of jumping ahead, the trees were originally all planted evergreens as a hedge screening for the tennis courts. Now they are all above the diameter of breast height, but they're all 2 to 3 feet away from each other, so they're in very poor health. We had an arborist do an assessment of all of these trees, and we're taking these down and replanting with native, appropriately spaced trees for the parking.
Okay, and how many you replace, how many are you gonna replace?
Off the top of my head, we have 60 to 80 trees that are going into the Dobbs Ferry side. This was similar to the removal of the tennis bubble that was in Dobbs Ferry here that was performed last year. Similarly, with that tennis bubble, before they had the bubble in that location, the tennis court was exposed to the sun as well, and they planted white pines all the way around it, and then the white pines got to be enormous. Actually didn't help with the sun at all because the needles were all 50 feet in the air, and those trees came down and we displayed, to the same extent that we will be doing on this project, the replanting of native plants and trees throughout the campus.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It's subject to a tree removal permit. They're just seeking a waiver for the site plan elements at this point.
But so it would go straight to planning board in that case, right? Or
No,
there would not be
it
any?
wouldn't be subject to planning board, and Valerie's here to speak to it as well. It would be in the hands of the building department to monitor the site plan elements, but compliance with the tree preservation code would still be a requirement, and they would have to speak to that before the tree committee and commission. So there would be a permit still required for that part of it. But because the planning board in Irvington is undertaking a full SECRA review, having our building department responsible for monitoring and making sure the elements that are unique to the Dobbs Ferry side and coordinating that would have to go through the building department as opposed to you making a referral to your planning board and then having your planning board sending it back and you doing a separate public hearing.
What is the amount of acreage or square footage in Dobbs Ferry that's affected here? Do you have that?
So affected or disturbed, we're adding about 6,000 square feet.
Like the size of the project in Dobbs Ferry?
So I could run through the slides here just to give a little bit better of a sense of the project. Here's the existing campus as we see it here. And then as we move to the proposed campus, the darker blue dashed line is the zone within Dobbs Ferry. So you can see it's, if I just go back a second, they're all within the existing parking areas here and down further. My arm's not long enough. So in those two zones, we're rearranging the parking, and there's no sidewalks on that side of the parking lot, which, given not only the existing amenities, but the new amenities that are being added, we're providing ADA accessible pathways throughout the campus, along with adding pathways from north to south to make a connection across what is existing at the moment to be a sea of asphalt with no pedestrian access whatsoever. So these are the raised island, the raised table here is the same thing that we did on the entrance here, for the main entrance. If you've walked the OCA, you can see where that paving comes up level with the OCA, and there's a different paving material there that is a traffic calming measure. We're instituting that same thing, given its success, down into the main parking area here, enlarging the islands. Given that we are adding pedestrian access and pathways, it is a small increase in impervious surface, but that is generally the result of the pedestrian pathways as we are reducing the amount of asphalt surface.
Mm-hmm. But it's significantly less than an acre.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
I have a question. This is maybe a little bit off to the side, but over the last number of years, Mercy, and maybe this is more a question for Tom, but Mercy has promised to build bus shelters, most recently, I think, including when we approved the construction of the pavilion, and even as far back as before COVID, and none of those have actually been built. So we have you here, you're in front of us. I'd like to ask, what is the plan for building the bus shelters that have been promised for a number of years?
I can speak to that if you want, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having us. So we're not happy with the Westchester County interactions with the structures they showed us that we could put out there. I think I mentioned that to you last time. We just built one on our campus where the Beeline bus stops, which is that I've been working with Chris on. So we're still intending to do those, Michael. We're just not happy with the designs that we've seen that were available. But we are committed to doing those as part of this work. We'll make sure those happen. You know, to be honest with you, the Westchester County ones were really about advertising and marketing and that kind of stuff, and we wanted to stay away from that.
Right. You had shown some designs, at least at the traffic committee some time ago, that were quite
Yes.
nice.
Yes. And we did a smaller version of one on the campus where the Beeline bus is when we did the quad last year, and we're working with Chris to do the other two out front. The one by Landing Drive, we did return the stone back in. So we have a spot for it, a little nestled spot, and then we poured the slab across the street by the church there. So we still got that on our radar, and thank you for your patience.
Gotcha. And just one other question. I know that, you know, as you guys are expanding, like the Westchester Planning Board had suggested that you guys add additional bike parking near some of the buildings, but I'm also wondering whether you've been in contact with the Project Mover organization and might be in the near future adding Project Mover e-bikes to a campus location?
Yeah, they did contact us, and we were thrilled to see the initiative up and down the corridor there that you folks were doing. So, yeah, my director of transportation, Yara Benjamin, reached out to them, and we're having dialogue with them. We're open to that. We had a different group on campus maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they withdrew their program and took the bikes away. So, yes, we're very open to that, and we started some conversations with them.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Valerie, can you come up and just explain what your thoughts are and what you think we should do? And
So we took a.
tell us who you are and what your
Oh, I'm
job is.
sorry. That's right. I keep doing that. My name is Valerie Menastre. I'm from Nelson Pope and Voorhees, and I'm the planning board planning consultant. So the overall site plan itself, like the primary piece of the work that's being done is actually being done in the village of Irvington. And so the issue is that the Irvington Planning Board is really reviewing all this and providing input. If this board had concerns with anything, you can always issue, you know, a letter to the village of Irvington. But in terms of coordinating and not causing overall confusion, you wouldn't necessarily be able to weigh in on what is taking place on Irvington. It would really be the small portion of the parking lot that they're planning to basically revise. And that would really be the site plan approval, which is why we are suggesting that they might not necessarily need site plan, review from this board while it is being undertaken by the village of Irvington. And if for some reason there is certain elements that you want to raise with the village of Irvington, we can always submit a memo on your behalf.
So you are recommending that we waive site plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think to a larger extent, this is really, they're just redesigning the parking lot that's already existing.
Okay.
And it's a redesign to serve the field house project and development, which is entirely on the Irvington side. So if, for example, if that field house required 4 more ADA compliant parking spaces, then that would have to be included on the Dobbs Ferry side. So really, you have very limited ability and jurisdiction. And I know that the building inspector was concerned about the 17 trees, but I believe that that's something that you could put in a memo just to remind the planning board in Irvington that you have tree provisions and you're expecting an application to be made prior to removal. And that way you can get further information about the replanting and the natives, and you deserve to have a broader understanding of the landscaping plan.
Okay. Trustee Patino, do you have any input on this? What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think the site plan approval waiver makes sense here. The parking is part of a larger project. What's important is this getting reviewed by another, from design and environmental perspective. I think what they're doing is a big improvement. I think if they can submit a landscape plan to our building inspector that shows the replanting, we can let the building inspector handle that along with the tree commission. They can review what's being removed, what's being replanted, and make sure that that complies with our tree code. So I would leave it at that.
Okay, so is the consensus to waive site plan?
So the resolution that you have
Right, doesn't say that.
doesn't provide for the waiver because I wasn't able to get clarification from the building department what he was recommending per se. And the village of Dobbs Ferry actually doesn't have a full-blown site plan application before it yet because it's part and parcel of what's happening adjacent. So if you're amenable to the waiver, you can put that on the public record and I can get a resolution to Liz tomorrow for the
Okay,
meeting.
so let's just move forward with this. So
I just want to say that as somebody who walks by, through, and around Mercy University all the time, it looks lovely, and I really appreciate all the work that you've done. It's beautiful to walk through now, and it looks 100% better than it did when I moved here 28 years ago, so thank you.
Well, thank you.
So is there a motion for the village of Dobbs Ferry to waive site plan approval for the proposed project at Mercy University campus? Trustee Sullivan, second trustee Patino, all in favor. That passes unanimously, so.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
all right,
Thank you.
take care. You're welcome.
Good evening.
Excuse me, Mayor, we have a Julie online, but we're trying to see if it's the same person who's going to give this presentation. We're just trying to contact her before she comes on.
Okay, courtesy of the floor. Is anybody here for courtesy of the floor? Come on up. Come on, you. You. Tell us who you are.
My name's John Berman. If it matters, I'm a resident of Irvington, but I am pleased to report that I live in the small piece of Irvington that's in the Dobbs Ferry School District.
Okay.
And both of my kids are currently students in the Dobbs Ferry schools.
Okay.
I just have a couple of snippets I want to share with you from the local newspaper, the Rivertown's Dispatch, because they cause some concern for me. I will paraphrase them in the interest of saving time. And I'll add that having served on a couple of boards myself, I have keen appreciation of your role. Two 17-year-olds from the Children's Village Residential Treatment Center in Dobbs Ferry were arrested on June 24 for attempting to steal two unlocked vehicles in Irvington on Sunday, June 8. The first attempt happened at the Ardsley and Hudson Metro North Station. The vehicle was damaged in an effort to start it without a key. The second attempt happened in the driveway of a home on Ardsley Avenue West. The defendants used the garage door opener in that vehicle to enter the garage where another vehicle was stored. They then fled. The home was occupied. Both were charged with 3 felonies, blah, blah, blah. I'll skip the details. They were also charged with possession of burglars' tools, released on their own recognizance. Second item, burglary arrest. A 15-year-old resident of the Children's Village was arrested for burglarizing Sam's Italian restaurant. We all know where that is, right downstairs. Sunday, June 22, between 2 and 2:40 a.m. in the morning. Defendant entered through a window, exited with 2 bottles of soda. He was charged also with a felony, blah, blah, blah. I only bring these up because I've lived here 11 years, love it, and I'm accustomed to seeing the reports of, teenage vandalism type of things. These are felonies, and one of them borders on a home invasion. I'm not here to complain. I don't know what the solution is. I'm just here to highlight it because it's above and beyond the expected scale of what has gone on. 4 felonies in June, it's just a little out of hand. I don't know what to do. I don't know what you can do, I don't know. I think there's a negligence issue, supervision on behalf of Children's Village. And my final comment would just be that you know, it's a privilege to be a part of this community or any community, but privileges come with responsibilities. And to me, there's some responsibility that Children's Village needs to step up to.
All right, thank you for bringing that up. The lieutenant's here. I know that you're working very closely with Children's Village, but maybe, Rob, you and I and another trustee, maybe can meet with the director of Children's Village and see exactly what's going on, and we can also talk to the lieutenant and see if there really, has been, it seems anecdotally that certainly that there are increased in felonies happening, so maybe we can look at what's happening as a whole and meet with the director.
I can set that up, yes.
Thank you.
I've never seen a felony from Children's Village in my 11 years.
Yeah.
And so it was alarming to me. I mean, it's bordering on home invasion. And I don't know what their kids are doing out at 2:30 in the morning. My kids aren't out at 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
But if they were, it would only happen once.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up.
David Santini, 104 Briarby Road. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Trustee Sullivan for all your years of service. That's incredible. I'm a member of the Protect the Knoll group, and you can imagine how thrilled our group was when, at the July Planning Board meeting, we heard Village Attorney Dan Posen read the following excerpt from a letter that David Steinmetz wrote. David Steinmetz, the attorney for Hillside Street, wrote to our mayor and board of trustees. Quote, "Instead, Hillside has asked that we formally offer to dedicate fee ownership of both lots to the village, provided these lots are maintained and preserved as open space in perpetuity," end quote. In perpetuity. Those two words are missing from a resolution you're about to vote on as to whether or not to accept the donation of certain real property from Hillside Street LLC. As stated in Mr. Steinmetz's letter, a condition of this property transaction agreement was that the two lots be preserved as open space in perpetuity.
Okay, I don't want to cut you off, but we'll add those two words. It's not a
sorry.
problem. It's not a problem. We will add those two words.
The village will,
Yeah.
village will.
I'm going to suggest in paragraph 4 and in paragraph 6, after
Okay.
the words open space.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. I just think it was an oversight, so thank you for bringing that to our attention.
We'll be putting a recorded covenant and restriction in the chain of title when we take the deed, so it's no problem.
Okay. But it should have been in there. You're right. Anybody else? Come on up.
Bob Radomski, Ogden Avenue. There seems to be a lot more dogs in the village recently. I don't know. Are all of these dogs still required to have a license? Do we still require dogs to have a license in this
New York
village?
State requires a license, yes.
We need a license.
Yeah.
New York
You
State
think they're
requires-
all licensed? There seems to be a lot more, unless they're all walking by my house. And do we make sure they have rabies vaccines, pre-rabies
It's
vaccines?
a condition of a license to
I
have
doubt
proof of
very
rabies.
much they all are licensed or vaccinated. You know, you don't need to be bitten to get rabies. All you need is a big sloppy kiss or a scratch. It's in the saliva. And I doubt all of these dogs have rabies shots, pre-rabies shots. Contact with other dogs or animals is what spreads rabies, and we now have confirmed cases north and south of Westchester. I'm a licensed trapper. I don't take chances. I get pre-rabies shots and have been for the last 20 years. Believe me, the next one I get is next week, and I'm not happy about it. Not because of the shot, because I have to drive to Brewster and pay $400 for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for courtesy of the floor? Okay. Someone's online one? Okay.
First, we don't have that one.
Patty Steinschneider, 329 Broadway. Couldn't be there tonight, but I just wanted to give a big shout out to Nicole. And I got to talk to her before she became a trustee, and we've had a great relationship all through it. And I really appreciate everything that she's brought to the village. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
I feel like this is a roast where everybody shows up.
You're the only one that roasted me, Mayor.
Okay, let's move on to the action items.
Everybody else
Okay.
loves her, Mayor.
I knew I should have written it down before.
You can't go.
I have a very direct and blunt manner. I've heard it before. You're not the first
I
person.
did not say that direct.
I know, but that's why you said the comment you did.
Yeah, Mayor, just real, yeah, the student assistance counselor, they're going to go on September, even though we
Yeah,
haven't.
we've
booked
moved
it.
on from that, so that's
Okay, so
fine.
we're-
You can go, that's fine. So
Yes.
let's move on to the resolutions. So as been alluded to, the property owner of certain parcels, which is located in what's known as the Knoll, has advised that they are willing to gift to the village the property as outlined in this proposed resolution. We will add the words in perpetuity. I think that's important to make it clear and that we understand that to be the case, so that it cannot be called into question what the further uses are, so we will add that. And we are, I know that it was a long struggle for the people who fought on behalf of the Knoll, and we acknowledge that, and certainly it's been financially and in time-wise that volunteers have spent on that. And I think the outcome has been what they fought for and which they've accomplished. And as a result of that, I think the village, not only was awareness raised, but now the village will have this property to be in perpetuity as a forest land and protect part of the During estate, and though it's not touching it, it's still part of that chain, so we appreciate that. So in that spirit, is there a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Dobbs Ferry to accept a donation of certain real property from Hillside Street? Trustee Rosenberg, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? That passes unanimously, and Laura Lee, you will add necessary language to that?
Yep, after the words open space in the second to the last whereas, and then also in the open space in the first now therefore be it resolved.
Okay.
We'll say in perpetuity. And again, you'll be filing that covenants and restrictions document.
Okay. Let's move on to action item number 2. Is there a motion to authorize the village administrator to award the bid for the sidewalk projects on Walgrove and Washington Avenues to Tony Casal, Inc. in the amount of $305,000? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor? That passes unanimously.
Can I just, well, that's,
6-1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't-
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All in favor? Or against?
I wanted to ask just before.
Oh, I didn't know
we
this was
voted.
going to be an issue. I'm sorry. So go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask where the 305 was coming from or what budget, just to clarify.
Well, I think this was, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, this was
Rebid.
a rebid. Right. Good news is we had 7 bidders interested in this, and the lowest qualified was $305,000. The $250,000 DASNY grant from 4 or 5 years ago, I was able to resurrect it, and they said we can continue. So $250,000 of that 305 is coming from the DASNY grant, and the rest is on the village capital.
And this is, the revised scope was included, which protects the trees as the residents had advocated for.
Correct.
Want to advise what your concern is?
Well, I haven't seen, I never saw that part.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Maybe you missed
It's
the
not in
meeting.
here, it's not in the packet, so I didn't,
No,
I
it
just
is.
assumed we were rebidding on what was
The
previously
original?
approved.
No, this is the one that's been redone.
Included.
saving
I'm
the
glad you
trees.
interrupted me. I will
Yeah.
change my vote.
I was surprised.
Well,
I know,
I
it's
thought
like,
it
wait
was
a
the same
second.
thing that I've been voting against for 4
Right.
years.
No,
so
no, no,
I-
this is the
No, this is
Right.
the
It was a-
revised scope.
Yeah, the
Yes.
change order from the last
Thank you,
bid.
sorry, I wasn't clear from the documents, or maybe I missed something in another meeting.
Basically, the change order from the last bid was now incorporated into the new bid, so it's all caught up to speed.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna do that again.
Sorry.
We already
I really
opened
wanna
it, so
drag
now we
this
just
out.
vote.
So is there a motion to award the bid for the sidewalk project on Wall Grove and Washington Avenue to Tony Casal in the amount of $305,000? Trustee Patino, second trustee Sullivan, all in favor? That passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
We're going to have a kickoff meeting as quickly as possible.
Yeah, before anything else happens, please.
This is a cursed project, but we'll get it done.
Is there a motion to accept the bids of the 2025 through 2026 road resurfacing bid request and to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder, which is Pat Paving, in the amount of $378,373.20? Trustee Sullivan, second trustee Rosenberg, all in favor? That passes unanimously. I just want to say, we're part of the VOC, which is all the villages, Irvington, Hastings, Ardsley, and we usually bid together on this, and we're the only village that we get it cheaper than the consortium does, so.
Well, a number of years ago, we participated and had to then decline the contract because of the way the linear feet, you submit your linear feet and all the other communities submit their linear feet, and it ended up that the lowest responsible bidder for the total project was not the lowest responsible bidder in terms of our portion of it. So after that, it was suggested by DPW, and Anthony Oliveri has taken over an independent bidding process for the paving.
And we checked each one of the items, and most of them did come under the other bids.
Which is unusual. This is always a shared service, and this is,
Yes.
our individual one was cheaper, and it's going to a local contractor, so that's good news. So, okay, so we'll move on from that, but that's, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. We did try to
And
do.
this was already budgeted, this is all.
Oh, yeah, this is all.
Yeah, this is mostly coming from CHIPS money, the capital highway improvement
It's an
programs.
It's an annual bid, and that's how you're able to get a better rate, is that you guarantee XYZ linear feet, so it's a competitive bidding process.
Okay, is there a motion to sign and execute an intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Dobbs Ferry and the County of Westchester regarding the transportation of prisoners? This is something that we do on a regular basis. So is there a motion to enter this agreement?
Can you just explain why it's done on a regular basis, but we're doing it in August, and it's an agreement that covers January 2025 through December 2026?
We're beholden to the county's paperwork.
Oh, okay.
There's
There's
not
just a delay.
There's
Yes,
not a
it's the
better
county's
explanation
contract.
than that. It's a renewal of it, and they reimburse for the mileage, and we're just beholden to the county, so.
They're a little behind.
So is there a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second trustee Nell, all in favor, that passes unanimously. Action item number 5, is there a motion to display the menorah at the intersection of Cedar and Main Streets from November 30th, 2025 through January 1st, 2026? Is there a motion? Trustee Rosen Asher, second trustee Sullivan, all in favor, that passes unanimously. Should I have?
Just kidding.
Should I have?
I was gonna say, what am
It
I,
doesn't
chopped liver,
really
but I
matter.
restrained myself.
Then I would have
No,
been
Nicole
accused
gets
of, oh, you're.
No, I
Totally missed
I think trustee Sullivan should get all of the seconds.
Yes.
Or firsts, as I previously stated.
So, action item number 6, is there a motion to authorize the street closure of Cedar and Main Streets and waive parking enforcement at 99 Cedar Street Lot for the 2025 Ferry Festa on Saturday, October 4th, between 1 and 8, with the rain date of October 5th? Trustee Galen, second trustee Rosenberg, all in favor, that passes unanimously. Action item number 7, is there a motion to approve a request for a street closure at 12 Meadow Way Street for the purpose of a block party on September 6, 2025, with a rain date of September 7th? Trustee Rosen Asher, second trustee Patino, all in favor, that passes unanimously. Action item number 8, is there a motion to approve the request for a street closure on 15 Walnut Street for 2025 Aquafest on September 20th from 11 to 4 p.m.? Now, Aquafest is a State?
That's the actual state aqueduct.
Right, so why?
It's the Friends of the Library.
street.
We're just closing the street.
Friends of the Aqueduct.
Friends of the Aqueduct, sorry.
It's the
We're
street
closing
on.
the
Right, I know it was the street, but I was just wondering who the person who was that made the request.
Probably the Friends.
He works
And is
with-
this, last year, I feel like there was a whole thing about them,
Oh, it's the Parks Department.
they had vendors or something? And so I
They
just
had
want to make
vendors
sure
along the
that,
aqueduct.
are we gonna have to do something retroactively, or is there an
We're all good.
additional?
We're all good. The gentleman who applied is from the state parks.
Right.
And works in the keeper's house, so that's why he's applying, because the house is in Dobbs Ferry. So there's no issues with the event, as there was last year.
Okay. Action item number 9 is we have to schedule a public hearing to consider a local law to
We
amend
have to
the
vote on that.
Village Code, Chapter 230.
We have to vote on the last one.
I didn't vote? Oh, I stopped myself.
I make a motion.
You made the motion?
I'm making it now.
All right, trustee Nell, second trustee Galen, all in favor, that passes unanimously. Okay,
Regarding number.
is there a motion to schedule a public hearing for September 9th, 2025 at 7:30 to address a local law to amend the village code regarding parks to clarify and provide enforceable park rules? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Action item number 10. Okay, so who's going to help me with this one? I'm looking at you, Laura Lee.
Where did Valerie go?
She's the keeper of all the information.
Oh, she sent an email, so we do have the attachment. She said, please find the final project list and matches from the village based on the village board meeting tonight.
So can I just say that with you to fill in the details in a
Yeah,
resolution?
I mean, you have a resolution that has blanks in it, so
Right.
this is yes.
Okay.
It's Memorial Park, the ask is $1,041,346. The second one is the High Street Park, the ask is $1,110,444. The third one is Lower Main and Cedar Street streetscaping, the ask is 1.6 million. The fourth one is the Cedar Street Plaza. The ask is $203,442. The fifth is Public Art. The ask is $148,750.
Was that the full, or that was 50%? I thought she said 74,000.
No, we changed public art.
Okay.
We changed it to not that because we
Okay.
don't have to do that. for
Number
small
6, and the final is the wayfinding signage, and the ask is $349,750. And I will forward this, spreadsheet to Liz Draper, our fabulous village clerk, right now.
Okay, so let's see if I can get this right. So is there a motion for Village of Dobbs Ferry Board of Trustees to approve the projects as outlined by the village attorney and the village planner for submission under the New York Forward Grant Program? Leave it at that, simple. Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Action item number 11. Now, Rob, maybe you can, before we even vote on this, maybe you can clarify some issues on this. This is to repair the signal, the light, but it's not for this full amount, right? Can you explain further what's happened since this has been placed in the packet?
Yes, Mayor. Yeah, chronologically, it started out as the flashing light was due to the aging infrastructure of the lights that Verdi usually maintains. So we went out and DPW got a quote of about $49,000 to replace everything because of its outlasted its useful life. While that discussion was going on, there was some discussion of the board to see if we can have stop signs put there instead of just having the flashing lights. Turns out the study needed to be done by professional engineers, so originally they gave us the study proposal to do that, and then it expanded into like a corridor study of 4 locations of the lights, traffic lights. So when the proposal came out, Right now, I have a call into the engineer to see if we can take out the $9,500 Phase 1, which is just the light at Washington and Ashford, because it's included in the corridor study. So I believe what the board was asking for was the corridor study to include, to see if we can actually, see if we can retime all the lights, and we still have to replace the ones, the lights at Ashford and Washington. So that's why there's two proposals here tonight. One is to approve the $49,000 Verde original proposal, and also the second resolution is for the Nelson Pope engineers to move ahead with the corridor study.
I thought it was less than 49,000 because it was on, we didn't have to put it out for bid. I thought it was.
No, that was their
That was the amount?
proposal. It was, I found out the Verde Electric folks, they're under state contract. I had the engineers actually look for other sources of who can actually replace those lights, and basically they came back with nobody was interested in doing the work, because Verde pretty much has a lock here in Westchester. So that $49,000, I couldn't bring that number down because they're replacing everything, the poles, the lights, the wires, the mechanisms. So that number never changed.
So,
This exceeds your procurement policy.
so Literally, you're okay with this, you're not?
Jeff?
No, I'm not either.
Okay, so let's talk about why. Tell us why, somebody.
So you're still required to, even if you believe there's only one vendor out there, you're still required to put the bid out for it. You know, if it is off a state contract, if we reference the contract in here, then I think we'll be fine.
So you think if we just amend, and I have to check this with Laura Lee, the attorney, if we amend the resolution to say that this is based on the state contract, that's sufficient, or is that not sufficient?
Well, in other words, it would have to be a process whereby you would be piggybacking on the state contract. But I don't see, is that like a unit price? Is that I don't know, but clearly 48,425 is higher than your procurement, so you either have to prove that it's a sole source, and that would be difficult to do because although the company may have a lock, that doesn't create a sole source situation. And if it were truly a sole source, then you would have to back that up with memoranda and proof and facts that you can't get this product, this supply from any other vendor. So and it really is up to Jeff, but in terms of this, it exceeds your procurement.
It exceeds the bidding thresholds from New York State.
Right, so you feel more comfortable if we put this out to bid?
I just want to point out that we talked about this a month ago, and we needed to get this done before schools open. So putting up a 30-day barrier right now may be what we have to do, but it's a real shame that we got ourselves into this mess and didn't do what we had to do at the very beginning when we were talking about this to get this done in time for the schools to open.
Let's go back a second, because it sounded to me as though Jeff had a potential solution of additional information that could be added to this resolution so that would make it, compliant with.
If they're truly working off or providing pricing off a New York State contract, then I would be okay with, we need to add the contract information and whatnot. I would be okay with it.
How do we determine that?
As long as Lori Lee is.
You need to specifically state that you're piggybacking, and the contract number has to be in here, and it has to be an apples to apples contract. So I don't know what Verde's state contract response was to it, without
Do we have that, Ron?
without knowing more information from that.
I don't know if they provided the contract number for the state contract number, but I did speak to the principal of the company, and they confirmed that they are on state contract for the last 10, 12 years.
But I think this proposal doesn't reference it, though. This proposal is a one-off proposal.
Is there a way that we can approve this subject to attaching it to the state contract?
Like, the goal is to approve this so that we can move forward as soon as possible with fixing the light.
Are we allowed, my question to you, Lori Lee, is are we allowed to do that? And then my question to Jeff is, would you be okay doing that? But first is, are we allowed to do that? Or can we approve it subject to?
Yeah,
A
we
certain
call it,
amendment.
it's an emergency issue we have to deal with for the beginning of the school year.
Couldn't agree more.
I want to,
I'm asking if, I'm trying to help find a solution here. So,
Yeah.
Lori Lee, can we approve it subject to this being amended to reflect that it's part of a state contract?
Except if it's not an apples to apples with what response to the state contract was, then you're.
But then that leaves us in the exact same position we're already in. So what I'm saying is, can we say that, and if it doesn't work out, then we immediately either put it to bid or get it mounted to the state contract or whatever has to happen. But can we do something tonight to try to prevent that situation from happening?
It really would be up to your procurement officer.
What?
Jeff, I want you to feel comfortable, so don't feel any pressure on this, so.
Listen, you know, I've done this for 20 some odd years, and I had, in my past life as an auditor, written clients up for this exact same sort of situation.
Okay.
So that is that's my opinion on it. However, if it is truly off a state contract and we can get the state contract information, I'm fine with it.
But would you be okay with, let's say it's not on the state contract, if we approve it tonight, subject to, and it turns out it's not, then we
Then we need
immediately.
to go to bid for it.
But then, right, but
As long as-
then we wouldn't get dinged for it, right? We're not doing anything.
We wouldn't get dinged, but we would be liable to the contractor. In other words, if you award a contract conditioned upon X, Y, and Z, you know, you can't actually get Verde to start work and order supplies until you
Yeah,
can
I'm not.
give yourself the measure of assurance.
Right, but aren't we basically saying we're not gonna do that? We're gonna get it, we're gonna amend it so that it's above board. And if we can't amend it so it's above board, we're gonna have to deal with this in a month again,
And
but,
theoretically, we should have that answer tomorrow.
right.
right?
But I'm trying to get it so that we don't have to wait a month. Can we do that?
I can check first thing in the morning to confirm the state contract number.
It's more than just that, though. It sounds like according to Lori Lee, it's got to be apples to apples comparisons, and I'm not sure you're going to get that tomorrow.
I just don't, I don't know what the state contract.
If you put something out to request for a bid, what's the fastest amount of time you can put that request in? Like
14 days.
14 days?
I guess minimum 2 weeks.
Minimum is 2 weeks? I would suggest we do that. I don't know how we got here myself, but I would suggest we put it out for bid and with a response within a date of 2 weeks.
Jeff?
There isn't anything if it's like an emergency that needs to get
The
done.
problem with
Like,
trying to declare it an
We've been
emergency.
talking about this for months.
At this point, that's the problem with trying
Right.
to declare it an emergency now. Had you done that right out of the chute, then you probably could have done this as an emergency repair.
I don't think we should be doing it until you do the study anyway, because I think it could ultimately be a waste of $50,000, but I know I'm the minority view on that.
I think $50,000 is a drop in the bucket if it keeps someone safe from not getting hit by a car.
All right, so we have to decide as a majority here. My vote would be to put it up today, put it out for request for bid with a 2-week return date from today. That's my.
That seems like the fastest way to go.
But we just said we could,
Though we're going to get the contract number for the state.
It's more than just the contract number, though. It's got to be an apple-to-apple comparison to make sure that what we're bidding out is truly being responded to.
Yeah, like the
There can't
3-inch
just be like a
conduit line
traffic, like
here.
a traffic
no.
light to replace a traffic light, like no one's had to replace a traffic light in the state of New York.
No, they have to have like each individual line item, maybe
Uh-huh.
to give a price for that.
Not
And then that has to align with
Right,
what
so
they're
what I'm
running.
saying is this seems pretty like standard. If you're taking down a traffic light that isn't working and putting up a traffic light that is working, it would be all these steps. So if these guys have the contract, they have done this before, and they could say, oh, we did this in Goshen, or oh.
can we
did this-
do both? Can we both approve this
Yeah.
subject to establishing that it is in fact part of the state contract and approve a bid if that is not the case? Approve going out to bid tomorrow with this if it turns out that that is not the case, so that we don't have to come back and vote for it, so that we're in the best position either way?
Do you have a specification?
Well, he
Well,
wrote down his
yes.
proposal.
You're going to follow the specification that Verde has provided. Is that sufficient?
I mean, it's very specific, and most likely they'll be the lowest bidder on it, because it is so specific.
Yeah, Nelson Pope, when I first started looking at this, they already took a look at this to confirm that we needed all this, and they said, yes, these are the specs and the prices are reasonable.
All right, so let's do two. Let's do two different.
Well, it's not getting done before school starts, so.
Okay, but we're now putting ourselves in the best possible position to get it done as quickly as possible if we do both of those
Right.
edges.
Okay, so the first version is going to be,
So it's in the alternative, is that what you're saying?
yeah,
It's conditioned upon proof that you're, insufficient information to determine this is a piggyback scenario on the state contract. Or in the alternative, should that not be the case?
should that be an alternative, or should it just be a separate resolution?
No, it shouldn't be separate.
Should be an alternative?
Should be in.
Really?
Yes. Should that not prove to be the case, then you're authorizing a solicitation for bids.
Can you say the first wording part of it again?
Anybody?
State-
The judge is
state
here.
language for the piggyback?
Okay, so, conditioned upon obtaining information and including information that this qualifies for piggybacking under this New York State contract. And if that proves not to be the case, in the alternative, you're authorizing a solicitation for bids
All right, let's see.
in the amount, yeah, well, with the details, with the criteria that's in the proposal.
So is there a motion? I just try to read this, what we currently have, and it's just,
It says they're an approved vendor on New York State contract, but you need more details, that's.
all right, so is there a resolution to approve a proposal from Verdi Electric Maintenance for traffic signal repair and replacement work at Ashford Avenue and Washington Avenue, conditioned upon the provision of the
Approved.
piggyback qualifications of state contract? Yeah, big contract. And in the alternative, should that not be the case, the soliciting of a bid meets the following qualifications as included in this resolution.
Nicely done.
Good enough, right? Trustee Patino, second trustee Nell, all in favor? Passes
I'm
unanimously.
not voting for it. I'm
Okay,
voting.
sorry. Okay. 6 in favor, 1 against. Trustee Sullivan against. Okay. Move on to action item number 13. So Rob, can you explain that?
Well, no, you have to do action number 12, 'cause that's the study of the corridor.
No,
No.
12 is,
Yeah, that's.
12
the-
is not the study of the corridor, it's a public comment,
The public hearing.
public hearing. And my question is, why do we need a public hearing for a grant application?
Never heard of it.
Fiona said it was a requirement.
For the grant application?
Correct. She's working on both, the Ashford and the Cedar, Maine.
So then why is there not any information in here about Cedar and Maine? It's only the Ashford stuff that's in the backup.
But your question regarding Cedar and Maine goes to.
Should have had both in there.
Because the Cedar in Maine is part of the match for the New York Forward.
All right, but this is, but the source of both of them is the Westchester Complete Streets Grant.
It is.
So why would we need, if we need to have a public hearing, don't we have to have had the information for both of those components of the grant application in here?
Can we schedule the public hearing, though, and make sure that they get included with that?
It says, and the downtown sidewalk rehabilitation projects.
Right.
As part
But
of
there's-
the New York Forward.
My only question is that there's backup here for the Ashford Avenue stuff, which I provided to you guys, but there's nothing, there's no specifications for what the,
Well,
They would have to include it.
I don't know if there.
if we don't have to include it, great, I'm just asking.
But
No,
the
I-
backup would be in the public hearing.
I don't think that there is specifications yet for the, we're talking about
For the
the
New York
lower
Forward
Main.
part?
Well, we don't have like, you have like the pricing and stuff. I don't know if there's like drawings and stuff. I didn't see any of those before.
Not drawings, but
Yes, I
there's
mean, so
backup
like,
on what
just the
makes
financials.
costs, yeah.
Yeah, just the financials, which is part of the New York Forward part.
Yeah.
And it says, item 2, the rehabilitation of downtown sidewalks, specifically along Main Street from Chestnut Street to Walnut
It
Street.
does mention Cedar in that. All right, let's go
It
forward.
references the,
The 2.
It references both, so. All right, so is there a motion to schedule a public hearing on September 9th, 2025, to allow public comment on the Ashford Avenue pedestrian infrastructure improvement and downtown sidewalk rehabilitation projects for the Complete Street Grant application submission for the 2025 funding application, which considers the rehabilitation of pedestrian infrastructure improvements along Ashford Avenue between Broadway and Northfield Avenue and along Main Street from Chestnut Street to Walnut Street and Cedar Street from Broadway to Main Street. Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Nell. all-
Before we vote, when is the deadline for submission of this grant application?
Fiona and I just spoke to the county about this. I think it's, I want to say the end of the month,
It's earlier than the end of September.
this month.
If it's this month, then the public hearing would be afterwards.
I can confirm the date for you.
I believe it's the first week of September, but I'm not entirely sure.
Because
Which is why
Fiona's
we
on
scheduled
vacation.
I
this
wondered,
for today.
I don't know if that has to, I don't know, if it has to come before, you just have to have it scheduled for part of the grant application. Like, do you have to have the public hearing before, or you, I don't know.
This
the
has
answer.
never happened before.
The timing, according to Fiona, she was
September
going on.
19th.
September 19th, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
She was going on vacation, coming back and completing it.
So did we have a motion made?
Yes.
Yes,
We have
we're
a
just
second.
voting.
All in
They're due
favor?
by September 19th.
Okay, all in favor? That passes unanimously.
I was talking about. No, 13, we didn't do that.
Okay, so Rob, can you talk about this before we,
Did already.
did we really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
We're
was
taking
part
the
of
9,500
sidewalk
out.
survey.
That's the one in two parts, the proposal from the
Sidewalk survey.
engineer. The first part is the Washington Light at Ashford. The second part is the actual corridor.
I'm doing the Carter survey for the.
Right, so you're looking to see if we can take out the 9,500.
I put a call into the engineer. I don't know if he's in today, but seems reasonable that he can do the corridor study independent.
Okay, so is there a motion?
Can you describe what exactly the corridor study is?
It's basically a required standard study that has to go back and look at all the accident data. I think I don't know if it's attached here.
Required for what?
It says here, corridor-wide evaluation from Beacon Hill Drive to Leffergy Avenue, Ogden Avenue, including additional traffic counts,
Right.
crash history review, intersection site
Right.
distance.
But for what purpose?
You can't just put up a stop sign or a street light without doing a study.
Who's putting
That's
up a
the
stop
purpose.
sign or a street light?
You have to do a study before you change anything. I think your comment was last time you can just tweak it by yourself.
No, no.
and You're not supposed to.
My question is this: what are we trying to accomplish that this study is a requirement for? We're not adding a street light. We're not adding a stop sign on Ashford. What are we trying to accomplish?
Talked about this at the last meeting. This was a study to see the timing because the traffic flow has been better with the four-way stop. And there should be a study done whether all the lights are necessary, whether the timing needs to be different at different points of the day. And so you have to do a study in order to do that. And we did it for a different part of the village. We haven't done it from the Stop and Shop light back to the Ardsley.
I mean, the answer to this is sensors. It's not street timings. So go ahead, we can take the vote.
Wait, no, I think you should say what you're going to say.
I mean, the answer to the traffic questions that this is supposed to answer is not retiming the lights. There's not a sufficient number of lights that the timing matters. The timing on, for traffic getting off of Lafergie is not long. It's 15 seconds. 2 cars can get by. The question is, how do you manage the demand? How do you make sure that when there's no cars trying to get off of Lafergie onto Ashford or off of Ogden onto Ashford, that the lights don't turn red on Ashford? That's not a question of light timing. That's a question of adding visual sensors. That's expensive, but that's the answer. The answer is not tweaking a few seconds off of the lights.
But the study might end up making that recommendation, but we as lay people can't make that recommendation for the village. You have to have a
To add
traffic
sensors?
You can't do that.
Mo-
You have
most-
to have a traffic engineer.
Most existing
safety
traffic
engineer.
lights around the state do not have sensors, and it's all done by studies to count the traffic,
Let's
to
just
count the
vote on
And
data,
if
to
if
count
that's
the
the
accidents.
goal, that we're going to wind up with sensors, that's great.
It could be one of the outcomes. We don't know.
All right, let's just vote on it. So is there a motion to authorize the village administrator to enter into an agreement with Nelson Pope for professional engineering services for the Ashford Avenue and Washington Avenue intersection safety improvement project? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes 6 to, all against, 1. Next, action item number 14, right?
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the plans as submitted and recommended by the village treasurer?
Local law, right?
Trustee Rosen Asher, second. Trustee
She wants-
Sullivan, all in favor? That passes.
I wanted a claims auditor by now, but
Mr. Mayor, can I just, maybe ask for some help on that? We're waiting for approval from New York State, right, on that local law, and they're not being responsive.
Okay, if you send me the information, I'll reach out to Mary Jane.
This is the auditor,
great.
on the auditor?
Yes.
Trustee liaison reports, do you have anything? Trustee Galen?
No.
Trustee Rosenberg? Trustee Nell?
I want to thank the Downtown Committee for leading the charge on the Dine Out Dobbs event that happened this past weekend, and for the
So much
village
fun.
staff to support and execute that. That was very wonderful. I'm hoping that I'm gonna be asking the Downtown Committee to get some data from the businesses to confirm that it is worth it for them, just so that we know in terms of planning for next year and trying to plan ahead better and more.
Okay, that was a great event. I know Rosenberg was there, I saw him there. Many other people were there as well, so it looked like a great event. Trustee Rosen Asher, do you have anything?
The Human Rights and Diversity Committee had 3 interns over the summer, and they presented their projects to us. The mayor and I were both in the meeting. They were fantastic, really thought-provoking. So I want to thank the Human Rights and Diversity Committee, not only for all the work that they do, but for working really with future generations. And one of the things that came out of it is to not only to continue with the listening circles, but to try to encourage intergenerational conversations about complicated topics around identity and world situations and village situations. And the committee's really been very, very proactive in trying to help when people in Dobbs Ferry have had some issues that they don't know where to turn. They have really taken the lead in trying to have those difficult conversations. So I just want to thank them.
Thank you, Shari, for
Take over a year-
bringing that up.
year
It
and a
was
half,
an
to do that.
interesting meeting, yes. Trustee Patino?
Still
The CAB
check.
is concerned about getting the year management program underway. So I would like to just remind Rob over here that we've got to get on that before we want to be doing that in tandem with Irvington. So they voiced that concern. Nothing from planning board.
I think that the survey had to be done first, right? We paid for the survey first?
Did pay for that. We
Right.
approved
Yeah,
that.
they can start that first, and they'll work together.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have a date for the start of the survey, or when is that supposed to happen?
They said usually end of August, early September.
All right, so,
I just got their contract today.
Yes, I reviewed the contract today.
great, thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say many of you know, on June 5th, my partner of 22 years passed away. And I just want to express my most, sincere thanks to the mayor, the board, my fellow department heads, staff members, residents from other towns have been coming over just to give me a hug. Like, it's been mind-blowing. So as Deputy Mayor Sullivan said, we really live in a great community. You guys have no idea how much myself and, Karen's family appreciates all your acts of kindness, and everything you've done has just been amazing. Tonight is actually, or would have been her 57th birthday. So I can't wait to get out of here, but, and just, because I want to see Nicole as much as I can right now, but I just wanted to thank Nicole for the opportunity to work with her all these years, and I wish you and your family the best as you move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, our condolences. It's been a rough year for a lot of people, so. Okay, I'm leaving it with you.
All right, I realized I was remiss earlier not to thank you for your kind words, Mayor. No, I mean it. I wasn't being facetious when I said that. I just didn't have a better word. I've enjoyed working with you, and I've learned a lot from you as well, and I appreciate it. My mother watched it and texted me and said it was very nice, so thank you.
See that? Thank you to your
Yeah.
mother who said,
Yeah.
make sure you thank the mayor.
She didn't tell me a thank you. She said it was a nice ceremony. But I'll end the meeting, so thank you.
9:58.